Welcome to the Lightworker podcast. I am your host, Natalie Grant. I am a Lightworker, a meditation facilitator, Reiki master, and a health and wellness enthusiast who thrives on helping people. Connection is my superpower, and I just love bringing people to a space where transformation can occur. Are you looking for information on being a Lightworker? Are you a Lightworker and just love collecting knowledge from other Lightworkers? Then this is exactly where you need to be right now. Spirit has brought you here for a reason, and my hope is that this podcast will offer some new information and insights that will help you on your journey. I am here to help you connect and grow on your true path as a Lightworker.
Let's record this, Kat. I feel like it might be interesting talking about what some people call Atlantis. Does that interest you?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever done any looking into that?
No.
No. So it could be described as the time that we built the megaliths.
Yeah.
So like pyramids, that you and I grew up only knowing that Egypt had them.
Yes.
That was
And
the
they
only education
yep.
that we had.
And no one knows how they were moved, but now we're realizing it would have been frequency, energy, right? It's the only...
Well, that's where we're kind of moving toward anyway.
Yes.
We don't really know yet.
Will we ever really know?
Well, there is actual scientific research being done.
Excellent.
Into the frequency that the tombs that they're called, but they're probably not tombs. I would call them rooms of frequency.
Yes.
Because they have
within the temples
hold different frequencies
yes.
in the different rooms.
Yes.
So what they do, we still don't know, but we're discovering more and more all the time. And what I have a lot of information come through about a time on the earth through my regression work.
Yeah. That
talks about human beings living on the planet, but we looked different. So the thing that I'm still waiting for is for some physical evidence to show up, because I do like looking at like geology and, you know, the sciencey side of things.
Yes. Yeah.
So although I've got like hundreds of case studies of people that share about this particular, let's call it an era of time on Earth, rather than like, you know, 1 year, or it's like a period of time where we incarnated multiple times into that particular era, where megaliths were present, where shape-shifting human and animals lived, where telepathic communication existed, where levitation and astral projection seemed to be possible, but not for everyone. And those that had the mastery, the power went to their head. Yeah. And that's an opinion on my behalf based on what people have said. Because those that had the mastery or the ability to connect to the natural forces, so God, creator, universe, had learned how to use telepathy to manipulate people. So they would just think something, and you as the recipient wouldn't be able to override their thought. It was more powerful than your thought. And so therefore a lot of people didn't even realize that that was where they were being manipulated.
I feel like that is just life right now. We were literally just talking about thought and how hard it is for people to understand that they are not their thoughts. It is literally life right now.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a time where people were...
They would go to these 12.
Yes.
And just be told what they were doing, what their talent was, a bit like in a Tinkerbell movie. And people would just nod and say yes, because because you're the masters. And they never questioned it.
That's religion.
It's interesting, right? There's a lot. I've had people that report being shapeshifters of that time.
Yeah.
And how there was a time where it was beautiful to be a shapeshifter, and you could morph from having a tail to legs and live on land and water. Or maybe they were a horse and a human.
Yeah, I've absolutely had travel like that.
You have?
Yes, yep. Just recently, actually, from a mermaid to land dweller, and being able to do both very interconnectedly, very, very easily.
Yeah. And that time when we did have that was a beautiful time. But something changed. And I'm still collating data on it. I try my very best not to suggest anything. So I never use the word Atlantis when I'm in a regression. I just keep my own data, and I encourage my clients to only share what they're seeing, not what they think they're seeing, because the mind will backfill and try and make sense of it. So what we want to always try and do is only share exactly what you're seeing in the scene, so that we're not, as best we can, we're not bringing in assumption.
Yeah. This is interesting. I'm probably backfilling now, but conversation we were having earlier about my upbringing with Christianity and religion.
Yeah.
So what I was just talking about then, from me going into the Akashic, but all of a sudden I am in the water. I'm a mermaid swimming with these whales. I'm then in this beautiful waterfall. It was a crystal waterfall.
Yeah.
So just crystals everywhere. The waterfall was a beautiful big crystal.
Amazing.
But I'm sitting there next to this and get in the water, and I have this being. He had pointy ears, almost looked like a pixie, I guess.
Yep.
Look at me straight in my eyes and say, go under the water, consider this your new baptism.
Wow.
Because I was baptized when I was 10 or 11 by full immersion into Christianity. And that was, that if you don't speak in tongues, if you don't receive the Holy Spirit, you will go to hell. Because Jesus is coming back. And when that happens, you either will go to heaven, or you will go to hell. So now that you have been baptized, you are responsible for your thoughts, your actions, your everything. You will be judged by your sins.
Wow.
And if you do not repent, you will go to hell. So as a 10-year-old little girl, I'm like,
scared.
Yeah, but this experience that I just had, the literal words were, consider this your new baptism.
Wow. So that's
beautiful.
in your, when you went and visited the Akashic records.
Yes.
Yeah, so what's the new way that this new baptism for you, sort of what's the sense that you have for that in that experience?
For me now, it is just about love and being in my heart and in my body and truly authentic. Whatever that looks like for me, but it's not fear anymore. It was always fear of judgment, I guess. Just that being judged, and I mean that would even come out in, I couldn't post on social media because I was going to be judged by people. Like, it literally played out in all different ways.
Wow.
now it's not about being judged anymore. It's just love. I hadn't fully understood all of that yet, but you talking about this is like...
It's like we're remembering. So something's happening in our human bodies at the moment where we're starting to have these interesting dreams when you're sleeping at night, or when you have a regression, we're being shown some of these places that we've lived or living at the same time. That's still up for discussion because it feels more like we're visiting realities that are actually simultaneously happening now, as opposed to us going back in a timeline.
Yeah.
Because from where we are, we seem to be able to learn from going into those places, see the different perspective, and then bring that knowledge back into our vehicles in this reality, which then helps us navigate our now a lot better. And to not attach to a story about it, you know, oh, I was a witch when I was a witch, this happened to me, and, you know, I can't use my voice because I was a witch in another life. And so then you bring that back into this now moment, and then you just mantra that story, and then that's your truth. So I can't voice myself because I was a witch in another lifetime, and that's why I can't open my throat now. And there are a lot of people that will interpret doing regression work in that way, that it justifies how they behave in the now moment, instead of going into that life, working out what it taught you, and then bringing the learning, the lesson of that life back here to help you liberate from the inability to use your throat. What do you need to do differently in this life, because you have the opportunity to do something different if you choose to? What do you need to do? What do you need to know that's going to help you move forward in a positive way in your reality? To me, that's a lot of what happens for clients when they do regression work. And it's fascinating, the ones that go into the Atlantean one, or lives multiple. The learning lessons that they tend to get is that injustice that went on, particularly for the shape-shifting beings, because these so-called masters would manipulate. They actually, in a few of the regressions that I've done, you know, those Colosseums that are in Italy and Rome or wherever the hell they are. The use that they used those for is very different to what our history tells us. If you were to give any validity to what comes through in the regressions. And so I always sit with, most of the people that come to me don't know each other. Right? So unless they're pulling some massive scam, then, and they all get together and say, let's go mess with Nat's life. We're all going to say the same thing in the regression. And really mess with her head. Unless that's happening, there has to be something to these memories that people go into. So I'm choosing to think, well, maybe we're learning through connecting to our hearts and connecting to going and visiting these other realities that we've lived, to bring back knowledge, because it's very important for us to remember this so that we don't repeat what we've done in the past. Because we might be living a good life right now, but we may have done something terrible in another life. And that's not the karma that people want you to know about in this reality now. It's more about treat Earth like a school. You're here to learn when you're here, but you can do anything you want when you're here. The rules of this reality seem to be that you are a sovereign. You get to choose what you want to do. And the places that we're taught to look have been what's slowing us down. So we've been taught that we've got to do what we're told from children. We're not supposed to speak up without, permission. And that's something that has been ingrained in us through generations. The truth, as far as I can see it, is that kids come through and they're very, very intelligent. and they have a lot to teach an adult if the adult's willing to listen to them.
Yeah.
And willing to onboard curiosity and see what comes through for them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're here to make sure that if they're in danger, that we're here to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
But from real danger, not the stuff that the mind wants you to believe. So we're starting to pay attention in the mind space now, which is where in Atlantis the warfare was.
Yeah.
Right? But people didn't know. Because they handed over their sovereignty to these beings and trusted these beings, the balance was off.
Yeah.
So they gave their power away. And then what ended up happening, and this was towards the end of Atlantis, was these beings would set up these colosseums and they would get the crowd to be cheering on while these shape-shifting beings were forced to fight each other.
Oh, God.
To the death.
Yeah.
And they would keep them in cages underneath the colosseums, not feed them and not do anything for them. They kept them enslaved. It's like they rounded them all up and used them for entertainment. And that's an interesting thing to have lots of different people talk about that don't know each other.
Yeah.
And the emotion that's present for the person that's in the regression is a full body response of remembrance, that we cannot let this happen again. And we can't seem to change the lives from then. We can change the lives from the current reality that we're moving through if we believe the history we've been taught.
Yeah.
But whenever I'm regressing someone into an Atlantean situation, you can't change it, you have to remember.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because they changed something about this reality this time. Whoever it is, God, universe, source energy, something was changed where we're supposed to remember that we're actually the ones that get to choose.
Yeah, wow.
And where you need to start choosing is in the thoughts. And it's an interesting thing. Like, I've even been regressed. So, you know, you regress a bunch of people and then you end up having your own regression to your own Atlantean lifetime. And so the life that they showed me was I was actually a servant of one of these beings. It looked a lot like, what I wore was a lot like the gladiator outfit, you know, with your spear and your shield and your skirt. And
that's what's coming to my mind, right?
Yeah. And these beings knew when the earth was going to go through its shifts. They knew that there was nothing they could do to stop it, and they knew that they were responsible for it. The way I knew that was because I could read the thoughts of that being when we were standing on top of one of these pyramids, which, out of interest, was surrounded by rainforest. Do you know?
Yeah.
And the remorse that being felt was palpable, but they couldn't change what they'd done. So they learned themselves that what they did was also wrong.
Yeah.
But in a time where they couldn't do anything to change the outcome for the entire planet. People report in the sessions this cataclysmic event that happens. They report about it. And I try really hard not to assume what it is. But the actual words they use is lights from the sky, volcanic eruptions, fire.
Yeah. Something
came from the sky that caused human tissue to evaporate. Like not just you know, bones and stuff be left behind, just complete, no more body. So it was that hot that there wasn't even ash left. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah. And that's multiple accounts talking about the same thing. And I've had my own visions about what went on, and I was able to see, which is interesting too, two different perspectives.
Yeah.
The evaporation and also where volcanic eruptions just flooded, and then the sea level rose.
Yeah, okay. So this was the end of Atlantis.
This was the end of that era. Of the Earth, which ties in with these cataclysmic events that geologists talk about, because you can see it in the layers of the Earth.
Yes. And so was that every
12 to 26,000 years.
Where are we at now?
We're there.
Interesting.
And people are getting this weird vibe in their bodies about something's coming.
Yeah.
And what I believe, I can say what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What I believe is if humans can get connected to their hearts and can remember that you have to just look after your own energy,
mm-hmm.
stop judging other people, stop telling other people what to do, mm-hmm. start owning your own stuff.
Yeah.
Stop blaming others.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy thing to say. I can say what to stop doing, but to actually do it is a whole nother kettle of fish because of the training.
Yeah.
We're talking thousands of years of a body that's programmed to respond certain ways in certain situations, mm-hmm. and the effort it takes to override that mechanism mm-hmm. is immense.
The conditioning.
Yeah, because most people are not present.
No.
So
wow.
Whether it comes in the next 5 years or 105 years or another 1,000 years from now.
Yeah.
We don't know, but we know, and like anyone that sort of, would be listening to this, you can feel it in your whole body that there's something to this mm-hmm. that we do need to hear.
Yes.
We don't necessarily know what to do about it yet. And that's where I really feel like we're in the feeling phase of this.
Mm.
We have to feel the body's response to fear.
Yes.
We have to feel the body's response to injustice. Mm. We have to feel the body's response to when someone's trying to control you.
Yeah.
And we have to pause. That's the phase we're in.
Yes.
We're getting lots of invitations to get those feelings felt.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to come through the body to be able to liberate from it.
Yes.
We've got to raise our frequencies, and that's how you do it. You stare fear in the face. Anything you're scared of, look at it. Stop avoiding it.
Yeah.
Stop pretending it's not there if it is. Stop trying to fight what is.
Yes.
What is in front of you for a reason.
And it doesn't mean you have to dive into it and be in the fear, and it's contemplation, right?
Yeah.
It's having that open mind, open heart about it all.
It's learning to trust your connection to whatever you call God.
Yes.
Creator, source energy, the divine creator. Everyone's got different words for it. Some people call it Buddha and some people call it Allah.
Yeah.
What matters is that you know what we're talking about.
Mm.
And then anything that's between you and that is created by the mind.
Yes. Yes. Or something else that you were conditioned then to believe.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff is helpful to help you return to your own heart.
Yes. And
everyone's got a different way of doing that. So there's not a right or wrong way to do that communion with Creator.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's only the way that feels in alignment with your own heart.
Mm.
If it feels like a should, we could be repeating a pattern from when we lived in Atlantis.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the lesson for you this time, is to stop letting other people run your bus.
Mm.
Because we used to let them.
Yeah.
We would just, we actually were powerless to change it. One of the lives that I saw for me was this one where I was this gladiator. I'll call it a gladiator. It wasn't really a gladiator, but it was like that. I got to see the whole life from when I was born all the way till the cataclysm. And in that, I was best friends with a shapeshifter. We grew up together. He was some sort of a bull human kind of combo.
Yeah.
And we would, play as children, but then life happened and you grew up and then you were given your role by these beings. And he was taken to the dungeons. And I was taken to the Colosseum to be the guard. And then they pull him out and they're levitating. He's above the ground. They're levitating him with their minds and they're shifting him from human to animal. And it's painful, right? And all I wanted to do was help. And so my whole body is sad because all I wanted to do was help.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, because when I went to move, I could hear them say stop. And I couldn't fight that command that was in my head because my body wouldn't let me. So I then had to witness them murder him. And it was devastating,
Yeah.
And all that was said to me when I was in the spirit realm, because then you can go into the life between lives, was to remember. This is a really important thing to remember. That as human beings, we all just want to be loved. We want to feel love, accepted. We want other people to treat us with compassion. Every single human on the planet, I believe, at their core, really wants that. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
The problem is that the conditioning in the bodies over generations of bad training, let's call it, of people in the mind listening to the options and not realizing that they need to pause, come out of fight or flight, get back into their hearts. Years of that, of cause and effect, of just doing the knee-jerk thing without actually really taking a moment to work out, is this how I would want to be treated? Do I even need to do anything in this moment, or should I be just feeling this because I'm having a feeling? Just taking that moment to just pause. People haven't done that and therefore have been murdering each other for millennia, and they are treating people the way they don't want to be treated themselves. But they don't see another way, because if they don't protect themselves, they will die. And it's really interesting. Like I was saying, I was listening to that book, Jesus and the Essenes by Dolores Cannon just recently. And because I didn't grow up in a religious background at all. So I can look at the story of Jesus from an impartial perspective because I don't have any training on what I should be thinking about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's a person, let's say he is a person that comes to Earth, and I would say with the regression work that I've done, he had to have been because people go there to the crucifixion and they're either in the crowd or they're up there on the the crosses with him, right?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just him that day.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of them. And here's this person who comes to the planet to demonstrate to people that there's another way.
They are sovereign. Yes. Oh my God.
There's another way. And to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
And to understand that some people are suffering because of the mind that they're listening to.
Yes. And
that any time that you are feeling like somebody else is above you because they might know more, and that you feel compelled to follow them, the way I read the teachings is that that's the absolute opposite of what he wanted to be done with him.
Yes. Jesus did not want to be worshipped. He said, follow me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. This is how you do this yourself. You can be this.
Yeah.
You don't need to worship me. I am showing you exactly what you are.
And so that's how I interpret it as well.
Yes.
So, and then when you bring in this knowledge from this Atlantean time, we followed these beings that had more knowledge, had more abilities than us, so therefore we feared them. And even if we didn't fear them, we weren't in our sovereignty enough to override their thought about what we should be doing. So this is where I kind of come back round into the now moment, right? Of this planet that we're living on right now, and in this now moment, and having access to that knowledge and what that does for me, and probably for you now, because you've had that experience with the mermaid tail, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how many of us had that memory when we were kids that we were mermaids? So many.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And when you have seen this cataclysm and the evaporation that happened to a human form, that's probably why there's not a lot of evidence of it even existing. Or it's under the water somewhere, still buried beneath, thousands and thousands of meters of water. Yeah. When we're here in this now moment, like, all of my evidence is just pointing towards, as a collective consciousness, we need to come into our own hearts. We need to remember that we get to choose in our next moment what we want to do. When a thought comes in and says you can't, the only thing for us to do is to question that thought. If a thought comes in and says you're not allowed to, what we need to be doing is asking why.
See you next week as we continue our discussion on the lost civilization of Atlantis. Make sure that you get informed when it lands. Like and subscribe. See you next week. The content found within these podcasts are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Nothing on this website is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any physical or medical conditions. If you have any physical or medical conditions, you should seek the advice of your medical professional immediately.